Se fue de México cuando tenía 10. Con su madre y su hermano no más los tres. De vez en cuando un cigarrillo.
Hey, everybody, it's time for your Browns Friday Fumble.
Fall on it.
Don't try to pick it up and run. My name is Dave.
I'm Dylan.
And, I got to start this off very early, Dylan. I've got a confession.
Friday Fumble Confessions.
Whoa.
As you noticed, it is not the time you normally would listen to this, unless you always listen to this at a different time than Friday. But this is not coming out on Friday.
It is not.
I don't know if you want the real answer, the joke answer, or whatever, but guess what? It's not Friday morning, so deal with that.
God,
but it doesn't matter because
deal with it.
Whatever day it is today, it's a victory that day. It's a victory either Friday or Saturday or Sunday, or, it could be like a Tuesday. I mean, these are sort of expiring, but not really. This is kind of evergreen content, I would say. Would you say that, Dylan?
Well, it's turning out to be that way, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, it is. So it's a victory day. Browns victorious over the Bengals. And did you ever have a doubt in your head the entire time, Dylan?
The Skinsta-nasty Bungles? No.
No doubts. I had zero. Joe, furrow your brow, didn't have any chance of keeping up with Baker, who put in, I would call it, a mediocre performance. Really.
Well, here's the thing. Dave. The Bengals are the Browns that we have lived with for a couple of decades.
Right. Other than,
You just smell it on them. They cannot close games out.
They can't. It's cliche, but they don't know how to win. And by that, I mean there is a code you're supposed to enter with the controller. They didn't know how to do it.
They didn't know it.
And that would have stopped Baker's fifth touchdown pass in what I would call a generally so-so performance by Baker. His fifth touchdown pass went in.
Yeah.
Fine.
This is the NFL. This is professional football.
What have you done for me before this?
Yeah. Before this five touchdown, near perfect except for spiking the ball once to stop the clock.
Well, guess what, Dylan? That counts. And so guess what? He ended on a one completion streak.
It does.
It's the inconsistency we've been talking about with Baker. It's just not there all the time. You think you've got him into a rhythm. You think he's doing well. And who was he even throwing that pass to? You can't throw a pass to the center.
Is this Kelly Holcomb?
Yeah.
Part two?
He just can't take it. And it just kind of put a sour taste in my mouth because he had, did he set a franchise record for number of consecutive completions? Did he throw 5 touchdowns? Yeah. But he didn't get to 300 yards, Dylan.
And really, I mean, when I look at my grading rubric.
Yeah, let's take a look. Open that up.
When I look at my rubric, there are a couple of key points that he's missing here. And consistency over his entire NFL career is one of them.
Yes.
And, win or lose a game, if you're not putting in a solid performance week in, week out over the tenure of your career, that's gonna take away from your overall score.
Yeah, it's really not. I'm just saying, Dylan. I mean, did he only have 5 attempts in the first quarter? Yeah, but guess what? None of those were complete.
Yeah, we could put that on Kevin Stefanski. We're not going to, though.
We don't really need to, because he had an interception. And
could we put that on the offensive line? Could they share some of that responsibility?
No.
Absolutely not.
He's got to own it, okay? So I don't care that you end up 22 of 28 for 297 and 5 goddamn touchdowns. You rushed for -1 yard. Where does that come from?
Yeah,
what are you supposed to... Yeah. When Jarvis Landry's 1 for 1 for 19 yards, guess what, buddy? He's got a higher quarterback rating than you. And maybe we ought to think about putting Jarvis under center.
There's a reason that they're called next-gen stats.
Yeah, because current gen is not cutting it. And it was just... I'm not going to call it a bad performance, Dylan.
No, God, this was not a bad performance by any means.
I'm
Okay?
just saying conventional wisdom in the NFL. Like, you want to talk about the old school, football guys, that the Browns have moved on from.
Yep.
Your John Dorsey's, your
Mike Pettins.
the Mike Pettins of their era. They used to say, "What have you done for me lately?" And
Exactly.
that's a very current gen. But you want to go next gen? What did you do for me 3 quarters ago? That's what I'm going to base this on. So
we talked about it last week, Dave, with trends analysis.
we did, and our trend analysis shows that he was on such of a downward trend in that first quarter that I don't care what you do later. F minus.
I have no, I have to agree.
Yeah.
I mean, he's tied my hands at this point.
I'd love to love you, Baker, but guess what? Can't do it. First quarter. I mean, did you only have 2 drive attempts? Yeah. Did the Bengals kind of monopolize the clock that quarter? Yeah. But that's on you, buddy. You're the quarterback. Most important position in sports, Dylan. They say
Jesus,
I've heard that said. Have you heard? I think that was it, right? It was quarterback.
yeah,
most
franchises are built on your shoulders.
Yeah. So why don't you get out there and make a stop?
I think they put it in the commentary booth last week, Dave. They put it in a very succinct manner. They said, "This is where Baker's going to earn that 5th-year option."
Right.
And I'm not sure he did.
I'm not sure he did either, Dylan. I have serious questions. And I also think that if you think about it right now, the Cowboys are in striking distance. They're about to get back in this game.
Hi. This is the Dallas Cowboys that we're talking about.
Yeah.
They're going to run us out of the goddamn building,
Out
Dave.
of the goddamn building.
Okay, Dave. Well, with WFNY's recent partnership with Hulu, we are pleased about the all-new Animaniacs reboot premiering November 25th with your old pals Yakko, Wacko, Dot, and of course Pinky and the Brain. Anywho, in light of that partnership,
hold on. Partnership?
Yes. We've
Is this what you were telling me about how you got free Hulu?
partnered with Hulu.
So this is when you said, "Hey Dave, you got to check this out. I got free Hulu." Do I get that free Hulu or
This is okay. Well, we don't really need to hash out the details of the deal right here on air.
But can you give me like a login or
I'm willing to set up a profile for you. Yeah.
are you going to do it parental controlled like you did the last time?
I feel like I have to, Dave.
I told you
you put me in a position. My hands are tied here.
I told you that I needed.
I don't know what. I don't want to get into this. I don't want to. Let's not air. Our dirty
HBO
laundry
is part
right
of the
here,
package,
okay?
and the Real Sex series
Okay,
is a very important part of just learning about yourself, Dylan. And if you're afraid to look at yourself,
okay,
then
yeah. So back to okay. So anyway, Dave, we're co-opting a classic Animaniacs segment. I'm sure you remember. Good idea, bad idea. And
I do remember that segment. It was a good one.
Oh, so good. And this will take the place of the old game balls and lame balls.
We did get sued by the Wilson company who makes the footballs. Apparently, they have copyrighted the term game ball. So we were allowed to do lame ball. They said very specifically in their injunction that we could say lame ball, but then you have to end up in a tricky reverse lame ball situation to give out good ones. So we just moved on. It was time to move on. All right, let's go ahead.
So first, Dave, I just want to say good idea for the Browns. Good idea. Andrew Sandejo plays every single down.
Yep.
This guy is a playmaker, but only once you get to the 60-plus snap count range.
Yes.
Once this guy gets 60 under his belt, it is shut downtown.
He kind of wears down the offense.
Exactly.
Like a good running back wears down the defense. And this is a little bit of insider information. We heard this around Berea. Stefanski's thinking about putting him as a tight end. He's going to go old school Iron Man football, playing both ways. We just got his number is 23, so take that for what it's worth. But
versatility.
It's versatility, and it's something that, again, we talked about this last week. You'd have to literally be insane to even think that the Browns would do that, so there's no way you're going to game plan for it.
So, bad idea, Dave. Andrew Sandejo plays every single down.
Yeah.
This guy is just a liability on those first 60 snaps.
Yeah, he flies in late. He likes to try to put what he thinks are big hits on people, which either result in
arm tackles
or a penalty. He's had a couple of penalties because he lowers the head.
Yeah, gosh, I mean he's got a tendency to leave the middle wide open when they're in the zone. So
yeah, good idea that the Browns embraced this week, scoring touchdowns. It makes winning so much easier. It's like the odds. I don't want I'm no math whiz. It's like exponential or something. Better odds of winning the game when you score when every successive touchdown builds and builds and builds. And another thing I'm not a math whiz about, but I'm pretty sure 6 is more than 3. So if you get a field goal, you don't get as many points. Is something I figured out. So why you would go for the field goal when there's a touchdown in play, just do that.
Yeah.
Now, flip side of that, bad idea. As good as it is for you to score touchdowns, letting the opposing team score touchdowns at will is a problem. Just because it's there, I think it kind of hurts us overall.
For sure.
Puts the offense in a tough spot. They've got to kind of keep matching. And so really, I think game plan wise, we need to plan on not giving up as many touchdowns.
Yeah. At some point you end up underwater, I feel like.
Yeah.
So another good idea here. Throw some garlic into some olive oil, Dave. Let that simmer prior to cooking up your favorite meats.
Now, you don't want to burn it.
No.
Okay.
Gosh, no.
Don't burn it.
Yep. Once you see some smoke, it's time to put the meat in.
Yeah.
Bad idea, Dave. Benching Baker Mayfield. Seriously, that's a terrible, terrible idea.
It's a terrible idea. Good idea. Heading over to Kelly's Island for a little day trip, bike around the island. The views this time of year are enough to re-energize, especially with the loss of daylight savings this weekend.
Yeah. Oof. It's going to be tough.
Bad idea, though. Remember, you're there on a day trip. That's why you like it so much. You do not want to purchase the Put in Bay timeshare. We know why you went to the presentation. The Soak City passes. It's too good to pass up, but you got to maintain your guard. You got to have your guard up, and you got to maintain your guard. Do not let them get you. That dump, you know what? It's not worth having. You're not gonna go. And $480 a month, guys. Throw it at an index fund or something like
just anything else.
Anything else.
Yeah, a savings account. Put it in a checking account.
Put it under your goddamn bed, but your own bed, not a bed on Put in Bay.
Good idea, Dave. Picking up Trevor Lawrence for your team next season. This guy's got he's got the skill set. You know, he's got the vision.
Got the hair.
Got the athletic ability, the hair, the chin.
Yeah.
Bad idea, though, Dave. Flip side of that. Picking up Trevor Lawrence for your Halloween party this weekend.
Yeah, not great.
This guy has been described as a locker room virus.
Yeah, he's not. What I'm telling him is I guess what they said, I think I heard on College Game Day, is that he's a very positive person.
Yes.
But then that tends to, and it spreads through the whole team.
Yeah, real fast.
But I guess it drains his energy because then he has to go home.
Yeah,
so
and
then he goes and he's so positive that then he stays home for 2 weeks. I guess he thinks the season's going to go so well. He's so optimistic that he's staying home for 2 weeks. So
Yep.
he's like, I'm going to save myself for the tougher games down the road. Good idea. Replace your air filter before you start pumping that heat. Seriously, you haven't done it. You forgot about it. And so you should do it. And you'll thank me later. And you know what? You know who won't thank you? The service tech who has to come out and fix it because you got an airflow sensor alarm on that furnace.
Yep.
You know, it's hard to stop a train, but that clogged air filter will do it. Bad idea? Benching Baker. I mean, I can't believe I have to say this again. It's getting ridiculous. You should not bench Baker.
Oh, here we go, Dave. Good idea. Calling that one trick play in the first quarter to keep the defense honest for the next 3 quarters. I mean, this is something that sets up getting those big gains on the underneath pass for Baker.
Mm-hmm.
He can just dump it off to Kareem and you know. However, bad idea, Dave, is calling all of the trick plays you have in the first quarter without first establishing any sort of run game or passing threat. This has shown to allow one of the worst defenses in the league, let alone the division, to just start teeing off on your recovering quarterback.
Good idea? Letting your short-fused, competitive-as-hell quarterback get the shit kicked out of him for the entire first quarter, only to come out and set a franchise record and put up 5 touchdowns the rest of the game. Bad idea? And Dylan, we talked about it before we started recording.
It's just...
But we have to say it again. And this is kind of a 2-parter bad idea.
Yeah.
First part, don't bench Baker Mayfield.
It's easy.
Second part, just don't comment on Instagram. Stop. If it is your friend's child, I will allow you to say, OMG, cute. But just
Heart
stop.
eyes.
Yeah. Make it if you're going to comment on Instagram, and this is a rule not just for NFL posts, not just for anything. If you're going to comment on Instagram, emoji or no comment. No one cares. If you can't sum up your comment with an emoji, then don't comment. Okay? That's it. All right. Big week coming up for the Browns. Something that,
goodness,
due to the bye week coming up, Dylan and I won't be able to cover it as it happens on the dot because he and I are both going to be just somewhere else for the week.
Well, and Dave, we have been. I mean, I know my phone's been blown up.
Yeah. I got Rappaport. I got the big-eared guy. I even got a Woj bomb, but NFL.
Right.
We know what's happening. But the trade deadline is really lining up perfectly for the Browns this year. They got their bye week, which means any new team member you bring in has the most time to acclimate. Hopefully they can feel at home in Cleveland before they take the field. You know what? And for the first time in a while, it's the Browns are buyers at the deadline, Dylan.
Yes, not sellers.
We're not here in tank down. So what are we going to do to scoop up for pennies on the dollar? Let's take a look at what's out there.
And also, by the way, because of the contract, we have had to include Mr. Craig in this episode. And the contract says he has to be in at least one per year, and I'm certain you guys remember the past, the previous years. Well, this is the one.
This is the one.
He's going to be grading these trades in a segment that we're dubbing Craig's Trade Grades.
He named the segment, too, so you know. All right, first, we got to address the safety situation.
Got to.
Andrew Sandejo is getting tired of having to do everything himself out there.
Yep.
So, I say, Dylan, hear me out on this.
Okay, all right.
Maybe you throw Bill Belichick a 5th and 6th rounder. You get Devin McCourty. Good safety. They've got a losing record. They're headed nowhere fast.
They're in Tradesville.
And you know that Billy B has a way of turning those late rounders into big names, Dylan. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit. Who says no?
Craig's trade grade, D.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, How about this one?
Okay.
Okay, so second trade proposal here for Mr. Craig. With OBJ going down, we have to add a body at wide receiver. Right?
Yeah.
We're all agreed?
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't line up at a 4 wide receiver set right now because we don't have 4.
Yeah. Why just get anyone, though, when you could get one of the most highly sought-after receivers in the game currently? Of course, I'm talking about Dove Covington from the Vikings.
Woo! Right? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's on everybody. He's 99% rostered on fantasy teams right now. He already knows Stefanski's systems. He's got the greatest hands in the game. He squeezes everything.
Yeah, you throw something near him.
Jeez, he comes down with it like a freaking sticky pad on a fly paper.
Yeah, you know those things.
This guy's flying through the air, man.
Yeah.
Vikings also, hey, they're in Tradesville right now, man, just like Belichick. I say you give up a Subway Sub Club card with all the spaces filled. I mean, they got to be filled.
Yeah.
$60 a gap cash, redeemable after December 5th. This is a done deal.
Yep, I think you can sign that one up. Let's run it through the old Craig machine.
Craig's trade grade, C.
Okay.
Right.
I guess he doesn't like Dove Covington.
Tough crowd.
Dylan, it's time we upgraded our country music star fans.
Yeah.
Brad Paisley, he's a fairly popular singer, but he proved on School of Hard Knocks that he isn't really much of a fan. He didn't know any of the offensive linemen.
That's true.
It's time we traded him. You know, maybe go a little bit more alternative, a little less mainstream. You know what? Maybe we get a guy like Sturgill Simpson. You know what? Maybe it doesn't even need to be a country.
There's some real appeal there.
Maybe it doesn't even need to be a country singer. Maybe just like Allison Brie, somebody like that. She could be a good Browns fan.
Oh, yeah.
Craig's trade grade, B.
All right, Craig's starting to get a little more interested. Right. That's good.
Guess warming him up with Allison Brie there.
Yeah.
You know, Dave, sometimes you just got to shake things up, and I think that's where we're headed here. There hasn't been a better chef in town than Michael Simon.
No. This, you know what? This is something that we don't want this to be controversial, but because you trade somebody doesn't mean you don't respect them as a player. It's just sometimes you just need to change the scenery.
Yeah, it's and I think it's kind of a chemistry thing here. You know, Michael Simon, he's talented, consistent, obviously loves Cleveland. I think he's getting a little complacent, as one does. Straight up offer him to the Bills for Gordon Ramsay in a third rounder.
Yep.
We need that kind of hard-nosed, no bullshit attitude in the locker room.
Craig's trade grade, D.
Craig is a bit of a homer on this one. Yeah.
God. My feelings are getting hurt.
You know what's collecting dust in the Browns office, Dylan?
What?
Fax machine. You know, it's got some notoriety around Cleveland. It's a pretty famous fax machine. Yeah. Sashi Brown's failure to use it properly saved us from just disastrously trading for A.J. McCarron Airport a few years ago. But really, since then, it's just been collecting dust.
Yeah, I mean, it is a known commodity, but you're right.
Send it down to Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. They're really working in the fax machine level right now with Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones. You can get it down to them, get some draft capital for next year. I mean, maybe a 4th, 5th rounder for that fax machine.
Craig's trade grade, A.
Finally, we get one Craig likes. Finally, he's
the sweet spot.
He's like, get that fax out of here. I'm going all modern all the time.
Spot.
Yeah.
Lastly, Dave, here we go. Lastly, you got to trade Josh Paloha in a third to the OBR for Jake Burns.
You just do it.
As much as I hate to say it.
Who says no?
Craig's trade grade, F.
Dylan, I discovered something this week. I Googled. I don't know if you're familiar with Google. It's a site where it lets you search for stuff on the internet. I Googled Los Angeles Raiders. And Google got all smarmy with me and goes, "Did you mean Las Vegas Raiders?" And I went, "No, Google, I meant Los Angeles Raiders." And then it goes, "I think you meant Las Vegas Raiders." And I went, "What?
What?
What is happening? Did The Rock finally get his thing on Sports Entourage? Did they do it?" And they did. Las
They
Vegas,
did it.
Las Vegas Raiders. The Golden Knights do not rule that sports town anymore. It's a 2-team
No
town.
longer.
Wow, 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 wow. And Dylan, I know we haven't talked about Entourage much on this, but what did Vince and the boys love more than anything? That is taking a private jet to Vegas, baby. Sure, they got in a fight with Seth Green and his entourage at a strip show when Turtle signed Vince up to judge a stripper contest. But they needed the money because they had just done Queens Boulevard and they didn't get any other offers. So
Yeah.
they needed the money, and Turtle, I think, was trying to sleep with the stripper contestants, which, hey, man, that's Turtle. But
That's Turtle.
you know what? More than that's Turtle. That's Vegas, baby. Johnny Drama went to his massage therapist who thought he was coming on to him. And you know what? According to Entourage, Dylan, what's the worst thing in the world? Someone thinking you're a homosexual. That is the worst thing that can happen to anyone. So, it's time for some Friday Fumble Confessions.
Friday Fumble Confessions.
Because there is a phrase, once I Googled and got the results for Las Vegas Raiders, there is a phrase that says what happens in Las Vegas, you don't talk about once you come back from Las Vegas. I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember how exactly it went, but it's something like, hey, don't talk about it
No,
when you get back from like to Fort Wayne or wherever you live. So we're doing Friday Fumble Confessions, and we have gotten them in. We sent out a tweet blast that we've since deleted because we didn't want to just keep getting tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet from you guys. So the submission time is closed, but we have them here, and let's see what we've got from these.
Friday Fumble Confessions.
Yeah, here. So, first confession on the Friday Fumble.
Friday Fumble Confessions.
We've got Lucy writing in from Bracknell.
Ooh.
She's telling me a juicy one here. So it looks like Lucy has been salting her neighbor's flower beds after the neighbor complained to the HOA about Lucy's yard flamingos. Lucy. I personally know your neighbor Alice, and she's an avid listener. And unfortunately, I think you might have some splaining to do.
I don't think there are many Lucys in Bracknell either, so she knows it's you.
Yeah. Yep.
Friday Fumble Confessions.
Next, we have one from HJ from Cincinnati. Says, I used to coach a team up in Cleveland, and I was getting blackmailed by the previous owner to tank the team to the ground. Huh. That is a weird one. Friday Fumble Confessions.
Friday Fumble Confessions.
Okay. On to the next one. Here's one from, quote, Anonymous out in Parma. But Dave, you can see it's Bill.
Oh, yeah.
I can
the
tell
way he does his
by his
eyes.
handwriting. He also put his return address right here on the envelope. So
Yeah,
it's
that is
definitely
not
Bill's
a great
house.
Bill.
Not sure why he'd want. Oh, shoot. Okay, I see. Wow. Oh, man. I guess Bill's been cheating on Lois with her sister.
Wow.
Oh, my God. On Sundays when he was coming to watch the game with the boys? Wow. Okay, sorry about that, Bill. I mean, more so Lois.
Yeah,
And Susan.
I guess he kind of wanted to get it off his chest, but the anonymous part, you're going to have less distinctive handwriting, Bill.
Friday Fumble Confessions.
All right, next we got a one from a guy named Huey. It says it's from north of Kentucky. He wrote in to tell us that he did in fact work in Cleveland for the better part of 3 years, but was being extorted for the entirety of his tenure by a very rich, very powerful Clevelander whose name rhymes with Sandy Burner. Huh. Weird.
Interesting. Yeah, that sounds like a tough spot, Huey, from
Yeah.
north of Kentucky.
Friday Fumble Confessions.
Oh, here we have Pal from Tampa writing in to let us know that he's never liked the beach nut football.
Huh.
Whoa.
Them's
Pal from Tampa.
Fighting words.
That's Pal Allen.
That's the only pal in Tampa that I know.
Local legendary sports writer and Friday Fumble contributor Pal Allen is not a fan of an Ohio State, the University of Ohio beach nuts.
Huh.
Wow. This is a scoop.
This is a scoop for sure.
Holy.
Friday Fumble Confessions.
Huh. Another one, it says from Mr. H. Jackson. He doesn't give a location other than it says it's approximately 248.4 miles from Cleveland down I-71.
Huh.
He writes that his entire family had been held hostage beginning in 2016 through about November of 2018 to make sure that he would make the only professional football team in Northeast Ohio lose a vast majority of their games in an effort to discredit the new ownership's competence. That is weird. But on to the next one. Let's see what's going on the next one.
Friday Fumble Confessions.
All right. Here we have Roger from Mayfield Heights. He's got a juicy confession here, Dave. This guy, Roger, I guess he grew up a Pittsburgh football fan.
Wow.
Owned a terrible tissue and everything.
Roger.
That's
Just
disgusting.
Gross. Delete this episode. You're not a listener anymore.
Ugh. What a jerk.
Friday Fumble Confessions.
Hey, this is Hugh Jackson, and now it is time to know your foe. Back to you, Dave and Dalen.
Now, Dave, despite their new locale, the Raiders are an old school franchise.
They sure are.
They've always eschewed the flashy and the modern, other than, of course, their bright red uniforms.
Bright red uniforms, Dylan. I've seen Raiders games before. They wear like black and silver. Like there's no red on their uniforms.
Well, that's where you're wrong, Dave. The Raiders wear fire engine red shirts with bright gold numbers and gold helmets. But they are so old school, Dave, they're actually still in black and white.
Huh.
Yeah.
When they moved to Las Vegas, Dylan, I've heard they decided to once again look past the modern trappings of America's playground. They're not about the shopping. They're not about the pools. They like to instead associate themselves with the desert oasis's seedy past. They embrace bookies, organized crime, and above all, racketeering.
Now, this got us at the Friday Fumble thinking. Our little thinkers started up.
Mm-hmm.
They've basically embraced the Rat Pack. So why don't we pick a new Rat Pack for today's modern era? Actually, never mind. Just keep the old one.
Yeah, the old one's fine. Dylan, let's take a look at this roster.
Got to. At quarterback, Dave, we have Derek Van.
One of the backups, who I literally just learned was on the Las Vegas Raiders, Mario Maricota. Apparently got the job. His Italian familia took him right out to Vegas, baby.
On the O-line, Bolt-on Miller.
Hey, give Denzel some more wings. Nah, man. Denzel good.
Wide receiver, Henry Ruggs for Less Superstore the third.
When things are going your way, Patrick O'Mama.
At tight end, the island of Foster Moreau.
You've seen Alec in bronze. You've seen Alec in silver. But how about Alec in gold?
NASCAR crew chief, Darren Waller.
King Richie Incognito? Jesus Christ.
Tyler and Brittany's eldest son, Colton Miller.
Former NFL tight end Jason Witten.
Right tackle R&B duo Sam Young and Trent Brown.
Everybody's favorite Ghostbuster actor, Rodney Hudson.
At tight end, naval warship Derek Craft Carrier.
Running back, where you could earn pizza for reading, Devontae Bookett.
Running back Jalen Dick.
Dylan, it's Richard.
Oh, shit.
At right guard, Gabriel Jackson and the Olympians.
All right, let's get on over to the defensive side of that ball, David. From the best season of True Detective, Clellan Farrell.
That was the best season. By far. Hey, can you unlock the Arden? Sure. Let me grab my Arden key.
Oh, what's this, Jonathan? Oh, wow. You shouldn't have Jonathan Thankins.
The goop inside your bones, Nicholas Marrow.
Ah, fan favorite. Taylor Swift's husband, Carl Nassib.
The car that carries coffins around, Maurice Hurst.
Chocolate-covered toffee, Jeff Heath.
Member, Lamarcus Joyner.
From MTV's Oddities, a throwback, Dave, Max Crosby.
Iron Chef winner, Raekwon McMillan.
From Boy Meets World, another throwback, Corey Littleton.
Currently injured corner, but still on the roster, Michael Bruce's brother, Damon Arnett.
Now, when you're excited for your favorite show, L.A. Law, and Nevin is running late, Nevin, Law's on.
When you're excited for your favorite New York basketball team, and Keyshawn is running late, Keyshawn, Nick's on.
When you're excited for your favorite political show, The Daily Show, and Isaiah is running late, Isaiah, John's on.
When you're excited for your favorite band Led Zeppelin's guitarist to do a solo show, and Amik is running late, Amik, Robert's on.
When you're excited for your favorite Marvel Space Ensemble to steal an Infinity Stone and John is running late, John, Groot on.
And Kyle Wilbur.
Gotta check out that special teams.
Actually, I'm not really sure I even care about their special teams. I'm not
Yeah.
interested. Not interested. All right. Money time, Dylan.
Yeah.
We're going to predict the game today. I'm just telling this a listener info update. There is a very, very strange rule in the NFL that was part of the deal of them moving to Las Vegas.
Well, these people don't know this.
I know, that's why I'm telling them. It would be a conflict of interest for us to predict the score for the purposes of betting, based on an obscure rule when the Raiders moved to Las Vegas. It was something to do with the fact that the bets would be taken in Las Vegas and the team is in Las Vegas, whatever. Any information we give to you today is for amusement only. I want you to...
Don't be idiots.
Don't be idiots about this. Like the fact that the Browns are going to put up 26 points, that's not something you should note in your brains for later when the episode is over and you're doing some completely unrelated betting activity. That has nothing to do with us. We are wiping our hands of this.
You are definitely not betting with this information. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that.
Mm-hmm.
You may not know anything about football, but I do know that you're not betting with this information.
No, you are not.
The fact that the Browns are giving up 17 points in this game, just a little fun little fact. That's all. It's for you only. That's just a little tidbit that I'm handing you in a really friendly way, not to any major casino or any sports book or anything. I mean, I know that you guys don't know what the heck you're talking about ever about anything. Okay?
Nothing. You
I'm
don't.
just handing you this little tidbit.
You don't know anything.
This is just something that you can talk about over the water cooler. Make you look like a smart guy.
Yeah, in front of the guys at the office who don't really know football. Like
Which
you.
you aren't
You're one of
that,
them. Yeah, you're one of them.
But you get to sort of lord it over them.
There is
that
some
you have
guy
this little-
in your office named Chad who thinks of you as the person who doesn't know football at work. And he's right. Chad is right about this. Chad kicks your ass every year in the fantasy thing because you take too many goddamn Browns players, and you know you have to be diversified when it comes to that. You can't take all one team's players, or else Chad, the guy who's like, oh yeah, I'm going to pick up this guy from the fucking Cardinals or some stupid shit, and he
Doug
wipes
Covington.
He fucking wipes the floor with you every single fucking time you play him. And he's 100% right about you. He goes home to his wife, who even more knows more than you do about football, and he's like, "Oh my god, I had to play this Friday Fumble listener this week, and I beat him by like 80 points because he had fucking Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, Austin Hooper, Lee Suggs, Andre Rison,
Peyton Hillis.
Kevin Mack." In his lineup, all starting today, and the Browns were on their bye. So, like, this guy thinks you're a fucking joke, and he loves playing you every year, and he loves getting your $20 at the end of the season every year, and he wins the trophy. But he's a pretty nice guy, to be honest. He's not a bad guy. It's not his fault that you fucking suck at this. All right, everybody. Sorry for the delayed episode this week. We are, of course, off for the bye week next week. The Browns will not be losing to the bye this week because the Browns are good. So go fuck yourself if you don't think that. Thank you to Carrie Ryan for our ending theme. Thank you to Claire Cattell for giving us our Friday Fumble confessions. And Dylan, have you anything to add?
Nothing.
Well, thank you. My name is Dave.
I'm Dylan.
And this has been your Browns Friday Fumble.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Friday, getting down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the